and welcome to On-Set Secrets. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Charlotte.
And this is where we lift the curtain on what life is like really working in the film, TV and production industry.
Our guest today is Gaby Anne Desy, who's a stunt performer, originally from Montreal and has a decade's worth of experience.
She is so cool. She's done amazing stunts for really big productions like Wednesday, X-Men, and everything in between. She's got Slow Horses coming out as well. We cannot wait to have this conversation with her. It is so exciting.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us on the podcast today, On-Set Secrets.
My pleasure.
Really excited to have you here. I'm really excited to meet a female stunt actor because I think this is my first time for sure. I think we're going to start with a foot in the palm door, which is essentially how did you get your foot in the door of this industry?
I was working in a bar. I had studied in film prior, and I was like in Montreal. The industry there, I had no clue there was even like a film industry like where I grew up. And there was this actor that came to my bar, and there was like a half rap party at the bar where I was working at. And I was like, oh, you know, it's so cool that you guys are like, you know, having your half rap party here. I've worked in film, blah, blah. And then one thing led to another, and I got invited on set. So I got to meet a bunch of people. I got to know a bit more about the industry in Montreal. And when I finally realized like that there was work in Montreal and that it wasn't like all in LA, because that was like 15 years ago. Whenever I would come across Honeylands or like trailers parked on the street, whenever I drove around my hometown, I would have some like resumes or like CVs with me, and I would just like knock on the door and be like, hey, I want to work in film. And eventually I got a chance at starting to work as a PA. So I started by bringing coffees, blocking roads, and washing Julia Roberts' toilets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, I was like, okay, how bad do I want this? Because I had the opportunity to go like on a big set at that time. I also got to get to know some stunties, and I was like, this is totally what I want to do. And I had also connected with the stunt coordinator at the time. So because that was, like in Montreal, there used to be like one production like almost every 2 years. There wasn't a lot of work or opportunities to get a chance at doing stunts. So during like those 5 years, I really worked hard. I started training. Like I was always very sporty, like when I was younger and stuff, but I really started to specialize in proper stunt performing skills. And then one day that specific coordinator kind of like opened a bit of a private school, took me under his wing. I started training and learning more specific like stunt skills that I would need to do, like performing gags. And then I, like following that, I started having like a chance here, a chance there. My name got around with different coordinators in Montreal. And then I wanted more. And then I moved to Toronto, lived there for a few years. And then I wanted even more. And then I eventually found myself in London.
Wow.
So if you could summarize, because for people who don't know, you know, the difference between a stunt coordinator and a stunt performer.
So the stunt coordinator is essentially going to be your boss as a stunt performer. They are the one who are going to look through the script. They're going to create what we call like a stunt breakdown. They're going to identify where do stunts happen, how many performers or doubles are going to be needed, what's going to be needed to create the gag, and then they will create these risk assessments, and that usually happens before like anyone even steps like on a production set. And then budgets are going to be created, and when the shoot starts, everything is ready to go. Then the performers that were previously booked show up on set, and that's when like the performer's job like comes like into play. But the coordinator also like orchestrates how the day is going to go depending on the gag, and so the performer comes or either like doubles the actor or perform like the stunt to be done, and then the coordinator is really like orchestrating and designing all the action like in the back of that and all the background and stuff.
So you kind of did the thing that all boomer parents tell you to do, which is like knock on doors and give your CV out.
Pretty much. Like
Yeah.
if you look back, like when I started, when I really wanted to get through, I had to figure out a way to edit some actiony sport like videos together and I didn't have a laptop. I didn't even know like how to edit these things. Like, I remember I went to film school, and we were literally taught to edit through like iMovie. So, and we were like filming with like mini VHS. So I had to burn my like stunt reel on a CD and, you know, go to the studio. Hopefully the stunt coordinator was there because I didn't know anyone. And then print my resume, print my CV with the burnt CD, or like try to send it by mail, and hopefully it would get in the hands of certain coordinators and I would like get a chance to prove myself on set.
How did you kind of like make that transition from PA to stunt performer? Like what were your steps? Like what was your first kind of role?
Or
Like
taste of it.
It was interesting because I was on set like as a PA, and whenever there was a stunt being performed that day, and like we're talking about really smaller productions, like in that area, so there's maybe like a stunt per episode. So we're talking about maybe like weeks and weeks before I could even get a chance to talk to a stunt coordinator and be like, hey, I'm working to become a stunt performer. Here's my resume. Can you please consider me for your next stunt? So I guess that's why it took like so long to eventually, you know, get my name to go around. But eventually there was like this prejudice where if you're crew, you can't really be in front of camera, and like vice versa. So I needed to take a step back eventually and move in front of the camera. So I did a bit of extra work, SSE, and which is, I think, is considered like SPATs in England, which is like special skilled extra. And it's also an opportunity for the stunt coordinators to see how professional you are on set, and if you're able to adapt, take cues, hit marks, etc. Eventually, like, it's just who you know and how bad you want it.
yeah.
What kind of sparked that dream in you? Like, was it a particular film you saw, or was it being on set that kind of made you think like, oh, I want to do that, I want to be a stunt performer?
It was really watching movies, I guess, like with my dad growing up. Like every single Saturday we'd go to this like VHS rental place and we'd watch a movie. So I really grew up like just fascinated by that whole world, and I'd be so drawn into these things, and one thing led to another. Like I was watching like all the BTS, and I was really just intrigued how everything was just done so like manually. And then I watched like all the Jackie Chan films, and I don't know, there was something that was really drawn to me about like the film world, which is also why I ended up like studying in it, not even knowing if I would get a job in it or not. But yeah, eventually it became like Resident Evil. I would watch out for like little things here and there, and Lord of the Rings. Those like were the main things that I was like, okay, I want to get in this industry, and I'll do whatever it takes.
And you said you were sporty naturally, so like that also kind of lent into the stunt kind of world, rather than just being like a traditional actor, for example.
Yeah, I definitely was very, very active. Like I did snowboarding, skiing. You know, growing up in Canada, like I had the opportunity to like mix summer sports and winter sports. I played a bit of soccer, lots of swimming. I competed in swimming, did loads of track and field, cross country running. Even when I was like going up as a stunt performer, I competed at a really high level in Spartan races. Like that was really like my sport.
Wow.
That was like really niche. And
What is a Spartan race? Coming from like the opposite of a sporty gal.
I guess like you can refer to them as like mud runs.
No, okay. Like obstacle kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like Tough Mudder in the
Mudder
UK. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Like we call it like obstacle course racing, but I think it also can be confused into like obstacle course racing, which is completely different.
Okay,
Like I did
yeah.
like the running, and I was able to eventually like get under like the pro Spartan team, and I was able to compete like internationally. So my discipline was the 15 kilometers, with like obviously varying obstacles. And that really also helped my career in putting me on the map and be like, okay, like she's a serious athlete.
What kind of advice would you give someone watching who maybe similar to how you started, you know, is really interested in it, but doesn't know how to get in or doesn't know anyone in the industry? Like what advice would you give?
I feel like in London, it's a lot easier to be able to be seen because in terms of stunt work, we have the British Stunt Register, and once you do all your 6 disciplines, then you're part of a registry. So eventually it takes time because obviously, like once you get on the register, no one still doesn't know who you are. Like, so there's still some work to be done there. But by training with other people and still being kind of connected with that body, you are known a lot quicker. And you also train or you have some teachers who are actually stunt coordinators in the UK. So you get seen, you get known. If you do like the right skill sets right from the get go and like you work hard and you're professional, people are going to start like noticing you for sure. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities in England because of like the amount of projects and the size of the projects that are accessible to everyone. So I'd say like if just do your training, just follow the British Stunt Register guidelines, and there's a chance. Yeah.
How long would you say that it kind of takes from sort of like that moment where you're like, okay, this is what I want to do, to then being able to be a stunt performer and kind of be on set, doing stunts?
It took a good 5 years. Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So you've got to be dedicated.
It took me 5 years because there wasn't a lot of like a plethora of work in Montreal. Once I moved to Toronto, like it got like easier because there was the opportunity, and also like showed that I really wanted it, and I trained hard.
You mentioned the 6 skills. What are they?
So you pick 6 skills out of, I believe it's 12, and they are predetermined according to what a good stunt performer like would need in terms of like skill sets. So you're going to have like water, agility. You can choose between horseback riding. You have to have a minimum of a martial art. There's all like these subcategories.
Super broad, right? Yeah, because there's so much, I suppose, that stunts encompass. It's not just fighting. There's loads of different things that might require a stunt performer.
Yeah, totally. But what's also curious is that you have all these 6 disciplines that, make you get on, but you still have to, learn how to do a high fall properly. You still have to, maybe do like a burning workshop to see like how would you react under, a fire gag. So, and then even wire work. So the trampolining discipline like is connected to wire work in terms of spatial awareness, but wire work is what you're really going to do on set. But yeah, there's like trampolining, horseback riding. In terms of horseback riding, you have to be like at a really high level, like almost like eventing. All these disciplines are also monitored by British Stunt Register member who orchestrate the tests to make sure that you actually pass.
It is like an athlete in that you have to, it's a lifestyle too, right? It's like it's not something you can dabble in. You have to kind of like really commit, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah. And it's really hard for people, that come from different backgrounds because it is also extremely pricey. And some people might take longer to go through all those 6 disciplines because they have either like a family or they have a side job, and it's quite a dedication, and with reason, because it's a high risk job, and it's also meant to protect like people who do this for a living, and we want good people and who are dedicated and who are also safe, not just daredevil.
What is the process, from getting, I suppose, booked by a stunt coordinator, and then what's the process like from between that and being on set?
I think in the UK there's a position called a booker, which is something completely different than an assistant coordinator and a coordinator. Usually, when I started in Canada, it would be either the stunt coordinator, depending on the size of the project, or the assistant coordinator, who's going to be mostly doing all the paperwork and the booking. Once they call you and they check your availabilities, then you're booked for a fitting. So you go in, they try on like the wardrobe that you're going to be wearing on the day, test out some padding or harness fitting depending on the gag as well. And also if the costume fits a certain way on the actress that you're going to double, then they also need to fit it according to how it's going to look on the actress. Like they want you to look the same, even if you have a harness under your wardrobe or not. If it's a bigger gag, then there will be several, sometimes like 1 or 2 days of rehearsal where you can go and be yanked. Like obviously there's like steps into getting into the gag, but
You say gag just for someone who wouldn't know that terminology. Like, what does that mean?
a stunt.
What would class as a stunt for someone who doesn't know?
Anything that's like high risk, that would require obviously like a stunt performer or like a stunt double. It's tricky because it's also a matter of like insurances. Some stunts can be performed by actors, but you're also hired to be there on the day in case the director wants something bigger. And we obviously, as a stunt coordinator, like you don't want to put your actress at risk of like getting injured. So there's like a kind of like a rule, let's say in Canada, is like anything that kind of like falls to a certain extent, depending on how you interpret the script, is considered like a stunt. But that also obviously like doesn't include fighting or driving. It really depends, by the interpretation of like the stunt coordinator and the risks involved. Yeah, it's like a gray area, I guess. Some coordinators want to be safe on the safer side, and some coordinators would be like, no, I think like the actress can do that, and sometimes it works too, because like I've doubled actresses that are like super physical, and I didn't, I was just there as like a safety, and they did all like their stunts. They were obviously like low risk, but like, and the director loved it because like most of the time they want the nice like they want to be able to identify that it's the actress moving and stuff. Yeah. But like some other times, like I really had to go in there and do the grunt work. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I derailed you a little bit there. You were talking about the process from like, once you've been booked for the job, then you do your wardrobe fitting, and then is it kind of on set go?
Yeah. If it's a small like gag or stunt, like you're going in, okay, you're just like face planted, 3, 2, 1, you like kind of like go and do your job. Maybe not exactly like that, but pretty much. Or if it's a bigger thing, then there's going to be like rehearsals. Like for example, there was a big sequence where there was a potato truck and 2 performers. Like we had to jump from an overpass into the potato truck, like as it was supposed to go under the overpass. So that took like at least like 3 days of rehearsal, and we started with just a potato truck stationary, jumping off from like a higher point, and just like figuring out, okay, like this is how much space we have, this is how we're gonna fall, and eventually like you practice and you rehearse with like the moving truck, different heights, and so on and so forth. Yeah, until like the actual day.
Even that beginning bit sounds scary. You're just going to jump from high into the potatoes and see how to land.
It wasn't real potatoes.
Okay. Do you get nervous ever, or are you just like past that now? And were you nervous ever at the beginning?
I get nervous because I want to do a good job. Yeah, I really thrive on doing like what's called like a oneer, because it saves time. It shows that you're professional, that you're skillful, that you do what you're asked, like what you're asked. So that's kind of like a kick that I get, but it also has like obviously this like nervousness around it where I really want to do a good job. I don't want to let anyone down. I want everyone to be happy, and yeah, obviously like there's these bigger gags where you're like, okay, yeah, like I'm human. But I also trust myself that I've trained enough, and I also trust my reflexes and all the work that I've done. So yeah, I think it's more of a pressure that I put on myself of like doing a good job. I think actually one of the like a few times where I do get nervous is when there's a lot of factors and other performers involved, because then it becomes really like a game of how is everyone professional and can everyone hit their mark. But also that like if you have a good relationship with your stunt coordinator, then obviously like you trust everyone around you. And yeah, it's a trust game.
Yeah,
Trust falls.
it's a big game of trust. Yeah.
Yeah, God, I can imagine. Yeah, it's not just putting your trust in yourself. You also have to put your trust in these people that you might not have met before today.
Or ever worked before, like with,
God, yeah, that's scary.
Do you have any like preferred stunts that you like to do? Do you have any favorites?
Oh my God. Stair falls.
Stair falls.
I really
Okay.
like stair falls.
What do you like so much about stair falls?
They're just, they look really impressive. It's a bunch of fun. Like you just throw yourself in the stairs and like roll around and.
Do you like practice stair falls ever?
Once in a while.
On set?
Usually I just like do them now. The fact that it's something like most of the time that I can rely like myself like fully on. I enjoy like calculating my moves and this is how I'm going to roll. This is like where I'm going to be at. And also like getting into some kind of like character. There's plenty obviously like that I like. I love my job, but I'd say stair falls.
I can imagine you at home just like throwing yourself down. Your neighbour's like, oh God, how's she fallen? I'm like, don't worry, I'm just practicing my stair fall. When I think stunt performer, your brain does go to like, you know, the fact that it's a risky job. You know, it's scary. It's dealing with really high risk activity. And unfortunately, obviously in the media, you do see things going wrong and people, you know, being hurt. So I suppose, what are your kind of thoughts around that? And is that something that you've, you know, you talked about trusting yourself and feeling like, you know, I know my discipline, I've worked really hard. But also like, I suppose a level of trust in the production too, that everything is kind of being done safely on the production side. And is there any kind of checks that you go through personally with production, or any times where you felt like you don't want to actually do a stunt because you feel like it's not the correct environment?
The trust really is into play with the stunt coordinator. Everyone that I've worked with has a different way of working, has a different way of budgeting, has different techniques, different approaches. And you get to prefer certain people over like certain other stunt coordinators in terms of ways of work and in terms of safety. I personally, I guess, like, knock on wood, have been really, have been really lucky in terms of like, I never had to refuse a stunt. But unfortunately, I do have colleagues that were injured in a quite dramatic way, and you know their careers are done. So you always have to, you know, have that little voice in the back of your mind where this, you know, there are risks involved. Yes, you trust your stunt coordinator in terms of experience, and you also build yourself a certain experience with time that, your do's and don'ts. But you also have to trust like your little voice inside and be like, sometimes I have to like watch out for myself.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really important to, and also especially if you're new into it, like feeling okay and comfortable with saying no is really important, because I can imagine if you're new and you want the experience, but actually, you know, as you say, it only takes one wrong move and that's your career finished.
And there has been stories where newer people got into positions where they should have said something, or they either didn't because they were scared of any backlash, or they just didn't have the experience to say no. They didn't know what they were getting themselves into, and they got like, you know, really injured. To those people who were starting, like the only thing I have to say is like, you know, you have to do the grunt work. You can't just like train and then hope to start to get work. Like part of your training is to get yourself on set and learn about safety, or even do like those observation days, or work as a PA in bigger productions, or work as a third AD to understand like what are the parameters of a safe stunts and what are the parameters of a not safe stunts, or if you consider it not safe, like what are the other factors around you? Like how, like where did all the prep go in order for, you know, that gag to be like that?
Yeah, it's true. Safety on set is something that, you know, we obviously take super seriously at Bridget, but it's something that, you know, I'm seeing now that because the advent of content is so huge and it is a lot smaller scale than traditional TV and film production, often the budgets are smaller, so then things have to get cut out. But, you know, we're always pushing back on, as much as we want to be kind of at the forefront of being modern and different and, you know, embracing new ways of working. Sometimes, as you say, the processes are there for a reason and they're there to protect people. And when you take those away, it creates much more margin for error. And that's really scary, especially, you know, when you're dealing with something like a stunt. And like, as you say, anything with a fall, sometimes people wouldn't think it's a stunt. So then perhaps on a smaller job or on a short film or something, they'd think, oh, the actor can just do that. Like they don't need a stunt performer there. But actually that's super dangerous, you know? And yeah, that's something that we always flag in productions because, as we know, budgets are getting smaller. But no one should have to go to work worrying for their safety at the end of it, I think. And that crosses beyond stunt performers. I think that's also just general
totally
crew.
Agree. Yeah. I have some colleagues who are really talented at what they do, and they, you know, they competed in gymnastics and stuff, and now they can't work anymore.
And this might be a stupid question, but you know, I know obviously you're trained to fall safely and to know kind of the angles, but like, does it still hurt? When you, even if you're not injuring yourself, but like, does it hurt when you do these, like, you know, jumping from heights and stuff? Because I imagine it would, right?
It depends on like what you're doing. When I first started, I realized like how much I actually needed to train, and as stupid as it may sound, but like your neck muscles, because if you fall accidentally like a certain way, like you have to be able to keep your chin tight, like your chin to here, because you don't want to like have any whiplash. So I guess like when those muscles aren't trained, then yeah, they're gonna get sore like the next day.
I watched some of your stunt work on social media, and there's, you know, where you've got the wire and it like throws you against a wall and you almost like that, and I'm just these things, they have to like have some impact on you. Not even a bruise.
Oh, it's funny actually for that gag. It wasn't like hitting the wall. It was like falling back down.
Ah, okay. It looked like it was the wall. You were, like,
so a trick is like, it's something that you'd learn in judo, is like to brace. So instead of just letting myself like being hit full on by the wall, like you tap, and then that kind of disperses like the energy. So if you tap like this and then let yourself fall, it looks like you're just like splatted on the wall, but really like you go back down.
You're in control of it.
Yeah,
Almost.
it was like actually, because everything is kind of expected, so you know you can react. But it was actually when I went back down, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think the tagline was short, and it just it kind of like fell into my harness. But it was like, yeah.
It was all good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it does have like its amount of pain, but I wouldn't say like it hurts.
I suppose if you're training enough, like you're strengthening your body, so it's like kind of, you know, it can handle it in a sense.
Yeah.
And in the same way that an athlete would be sore the day following an event, for example. Like,
yes.
You might be sore the next day, but that's not an injury. It's just, you know, part of having done
A workout.
Essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and obviously, like, I'm not gonna come out of like a certain gag or like a fight scene without any bruises either. It's just like in the moment, it's not gonna be like, oh my God, I've broken my arm and I have to stop now. It's things that you kind of like have to roll through. And I think you also have to have a certain threshold for
like a pain threshold.
Yeah, a certain pain threshold. It's as an example, when I was competing for obstacle course racing, I was competing at a high level, and I was always aiming for like a podium. And on a regular basis, I would twist my ankle, and I've discovered like if you just continue running, it might not be the best thing for my ankles, but if you continue running, like eventually the pain will go away, and like obviously I would have to tape it afterwards, like because I had like competitions coming or work, but you just continue and like you can continue the stunt and like I wouldn't call that like pain enough to be a consideration, if that makes sense.
I think you have a much higher pain threshold than me. First twinge, I've been like, I can't do it.
It's about pushing your boundaries. Like that's what I think the obstacle course racing like taught me the most is like how far can you push yourself? Like how quick can you go up that hill? Like, and you know, when you just try to go over like an 8-foot wall, you're gonna get bruises. You're gonna stop there and cry and be like, okay, I'm done. No, because you want to get on the podium. So it's about pushing yourself really and getting out of your comfort zone.
That is very cool.
But if I can do
inspiring.
it, you guys can do it. It's just like one step at a time.
Too old now. Is there like anything kind of unexpected that's come with your job role of stunt performer that you never would have thought that would be part of the job?
There is a big part of admin, especially how it works here in the UK rather than Canada. But something that I still get caught with even like today is how sometimes you get to set and you do nothing and you wait. It's like go, quick, and then you wait. And for someone who's like really hyperactive and who's always used to training and moving and everything, it can get hard. It can get like difficult. But yeah, like I've been on some shows where, you know, there's some days I did like, you know, a gag here and there, but over 3 weeks, and you just wait because you don't know what's going to come up. You're there for safety, and I feel like it takes a toll on your like mental capacity sometimes. You create like really good friends, and you really tight knit like with some people that you end up working with, and they become like a sort of a family. But oh my gosh, sometimes it's heavy.
It's testing. Do you do anything
it.
to kill the time? Can you train on the side of the set?
Yeah. Luckily, like there's some jobs where like there's a little gym on the side, but you know, you also don't want to like overkill yourself because you want to be ready for like a potential
stunt,
like stunt. So you're not going to train like 8 hours a day or stretch
book.
8 hours a day. yeah. Book. Now we have like social media, so people scroll and you find ways to do, or like sometimes you practice like some Cali or some like. Yeah, you find your way around it.
What's Cali?
It's a Filipino martial art, and it's with sticks. And it's great for knife handling and footwork and all that stuff. So yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah,
You're actually a real life action woman.
I try. As you can see, I'm really passionate about what I do.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I love it. I think it's so important to talk about. I think it's so important to talk about, you know, all the years of training that has to go into that. You know, it's not just that you are good at sport and then you go on set and become a stunt performer. Like, I think people probably wouldn't know the amount of years that go in, the constant updating of your skills and the constant training that you have to do to keep at your peak, I suppose, so that when a job comes in, you're like ready to go.
Yeah.
I suppose though that there are, on the flip side of that, there is other routes kind of into stunt work, isn't there? So I have worked with a stunt performer, and I believe that he was a gymnast, so an Olympic gymnast, and then came into stunt work that way. So is that another kind of route in, would you say? Yep.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they have like some people who specialize in something and had the opportunity to be recruited by a stunt coordinator for like a specific thing that needed to be done. And eventually they really liked to be on set, and they added to their skill set, but they were originally specialized into gymnastics or anything like that.
And so maybe their specialism is kind of always related to their gymnastics, whatever the stunt is.
Yeah. So their reputation is eventually going to be very gymnastic-y type thing, and that's the main work those people are going to get. Although, like, to be a good stunt performer and to be employable, you need to be like a jack of all trades, because that's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are ways to get into stunts like that too. Even like certain rally drivers, like in terms of like driving.
Yeah.
Some people can start by performing this specific car stunt, and they still want to do stunts in the film industry. Then they do like the training. So yeah.
Do you do stunt driving?
Yes. Yes. And a little anecdote for you guys. In Canada, we drive on the right side of the road, on the left side. So I had to do a lot of training in order for me to adapt my stunt driving here, like driving on the side of the road, and also driving manual and like stick shift, not manual. That's something we don't have necessarily like by default in Canada. Like all our cars are automatic. So it was like quite the curve when I first started training.
You can't request an automatic?
No. You get sometimes the crappiest car, and they sometimes expect you to do this like super awesome maneuver. You're like, no, that car is not going to do that. It doesn't function like that. I'll do what I can, but physically it's going to be like tricky. But yeah.
So we always finish with the pit versus the peak. So your kind of most challenging career moment, or maybe the most challenging stunt you've done, and then the best kind of career moment. And maybe they're both the same thing, Who knows?
I would almost say so. But I have to admit, I speak about my job like it's the perfect thing. Like every career, every job has like its advantages and disadvantages. Being always on call, pretty much, and your career and your job being a huge priority in your life, it's a lifestyle. So unfortunately, like I did have to miss like certain family events when I first started, and also it's you're self-employed, so you can't really decide like when you take vacation. So like the amount of times that I had to delay like some holidays, like I lost count. And it's because you're self-employed. Well, I didn't work for 9 months during COVID, and I had very, very little work during strike. And now, there's this thing going on with Trump. Now, we don't know if all, the jobs that are here are going to go back to Atlanta or LA. So like it's a risk in your own lifestyle, in your own income. So I guess that's the pit of the career.
And how, like on average, like how much work do you have like throughout the year, would you say, like without COVID and Trump and
oh my gosh,
the strikes? Like what's kind of like,
or is it super changeable? Like, is it 1 year you'll be booked and busy all year, and then 1 year might be quieter?
When I first started, they were quieter years, but now I get to be really busy, which is nice because I get to choose I get to choose my contracts a little more and where they are, like around the world.
Yeah.
And
that comes with experience, right? And like being at a certain level and having, people know you, and then you get a little bit more autonomy over your work.
Yeah. And I also get to like choose to who I can like work with. And now I get to work with some friends.
And then the peak, your coolest career moment or your best career moment?
My coolest career moment. Oh my gosh. Well, I'd say before I moved to London, there was the opportunity to like travel for work. I got to go to Romania, Greece, even just traveling within Canada, like in different provinces. I got to go, oh my gosh, okay, here it is. I got to go work in Nunavut a few years ago, and the shoot was like 15 kilometers south of the Arctic Circle.
wow.
It was the most beautiful set and location that I've ever worked on, and it was amazing.
What was that for? Can you say?
It was a movie. I think it was cross produced with the government of Nunavut, and it was called Slashback. So it was like taking part in Pang Your Tongue in Baffin Islands. But yeah, I guess like my biggest like career moments that I really enjoyed is like traveling for work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You've done doubling for like a lot of big names, and like, is that quite exciting? And like, you know, what does it involve? Obviously, you have to be kind of like what, the same height, the same.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
height, same size. Yeah, they are big names, which is like a nice little, you know, tick on the resume. And also it's like a nice little tap on the back saying like, oh, you know, you've kind of like made it if like you're considered to, you know, like double these big names and things like that and be like on these big projects. But at the end of the day, like my best dubbing experiences were actually with like actors who are just starting in the industry and who are just like as passionate as me as like into their craft. And I've actually like, yeah, made like really good friends with the actresses that I've doubled.
So not besties with Megan Fox. Yeah.
No.
Will remain. That'll be an on-set secret.
Is there anything in the industry that you think should change, or, you know, like could change for the better?
There's been a lot of kerfuffle about injuries lately. It's been in the media. I think that a registry of injuries, like obviously staying in anonymously, wouldn't be a bad thing, where even upcoming coordinators and younger performers can read and be like, okay, well, this is what happened, was the report, and possibly not do the same mistake again, because we all want to continue to work.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like accidents do happen, but it's also like extra information that I believe like everyone should know, instead of like keeping it like quiet and like hunkered
Like
out.
pretending it didn't happen. like,
Exactly. Yeah.
let's learn from it instead.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, thank you so much. It's been
Thank you.
so interesting. And I can't wait to see what cool project you've got
Yes.
next.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
There's a lot of good things coming up. I'm excited to see them as well.
Can you name any of them?
Yeah. The Conjuring, like the next
Oh, wow.
Annabelle should come out soon. And I recently finished on Slow Horses.
Oh, exciting.
I
Wow.
love slow horses.
Oh yeah. That was like, oh yeah, that's good.
Amazing.
Amazing.
All right, well,
Thank
thank
you.
you so
Thank
much,
you.
Gabby.
Yeah, it was such a pleasure being here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for coming down. Yeah, it's been amazing to learn about stunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you can tell, I'm really passionate about it.
No, you can feel that too. Yeah. But it's so interesting and it's brilliant, like what you're doing and the things you've achieved. Incredible stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I hope it inspires a lot of people.
Yeah.
I hope I can, you know, give that to someone. at
Bring
least.
some more people to the stunt register.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was such a cool conversation with Gabby. There's so much that goes into stunt performing that I didn't know. I didn't know how multidisciplined you had to be. I kind of thought you specialized maybe in one type of stunt. I didn't realize that you kind of had to be, as she said, a jack of all. Well, that was really interesting to note. As always, this platform is to showcase the plethora of roles out there for people wanting to work in film, TV, and video production. And I think stunt is just such a cool bit of the industry that, you know, you rarely get access to, or you rarely hear from stunt performers, aside from when something's gone wrong. So it's nice to hear that, you know, she's never had an injury and she feels really confident in the work that she's doing in herself. She's never had to say no to a stunt either, which I think is like a great thing.
Yeah, that's good to hear. You know, it just means that people are doing their jobs properly.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of On-Set Secrets. As always, if you've enjoyed it, please subscribe so that you can hear more, as we've got lots of exciting guests yet to come.
And if there's anyone that you want to hear from, then just let us know.
And see you next time for the next episode of On-Set Secrets. Bye.
Bye.